So there was an event that apparently took place over the weekend that I wasn't aware of. But apparently there was a health industry PR award event that took place this weekend. And the gala was glitzy, but the vibe was uneasy. Luigi Mangione wasn't the only one haunting the night, Steve. Can you imagine? Just 9 weeks after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was on a weekday morning on a busy street, the luminaries of the healthcare and public opinion industries made a brief return to Midtown Manhattan, just 7 blocks over and 5 blocks up. In case you were wondering exactly where they were, because that's important. From where the shell casings hit this, don't you a neolib and a shitlib wrote this,
and yet those douchebags stepped around his fucking carcass and the yellow tape and had their meeting on time. So it's just the whole thing is that we're having a selective memory on that, but okay.
They gathered for gaiety in the glitzy ballroom. The occasion was the 2025 PR Week Healthcare Award. I didn't know you could win awards in healthcare. Is it based on how many bodies you send to the morgue? I mean, that might be part of it. A celebration of the sector that crafts the public's perception of pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, healthcare insurers, and care providers. So who does the best PR bullshit? That's what it sounds like.
I've done PR for hospital before. I understand this.
Oof. Oh, you're pretty. Steve, we're gonna have to drag Jen back into the back and put her down like a dog. It is what it is. Through advertising, lobbying, corporate outreach, and so much more. Cocktail attire, please. It has not been the best year ever. There was obviously the public relations disaster of times. The way that they write this, I can't tell if this is satire. I really can't. I can't tell. I don't know if they're being serious or
well, that's why I feel bad for the Onion. I don't know what they're going to do now.
There was also the looming specter of an antagonistic new health secretary installed by Donald Trump. Corporate profits for insurance giants were high, sure, but not the highest. Drug makers' stock prices had been flagging. Not to say there weren't standouts. Eli Lilly, the country's largest pharmaceutical company, again, that's a pharmaceutical conglomerate. For those
I've also worked for Eli Lilly.
You really do. So.
I was a temp.
Whatever. That doesn't. You're still getting perched. Okay.
I was at a temp agency. I got put in there.
You might as well put up a complete steel barrier around your studio. That's the best.
I think it makes me versatile.
Reported $45 billion in. This is so absurd. $45 billion in revenue in 2024, a 32% increase over the last year. The company's net income was up 102% since last year. The profit margin leaped from 15 to 24%. Oh, that's outstanding. Also, the company so what they're telling you is that their corporate profits over the year was somewhere between probably about $12 billion, pocket change. Also, and that's not even counting your shareholders. Also, the company, along with Strategic Communications from Porter Novelli, was shortlisted from an award. Best in Media Relations for the launch.
That's a big award, I'm sure.
Yeah, Kisunla, a new drug for Alzheimer's that costs patients $32,000 a year. How much do you think that costs in Canada, eh? They complain so much about Canada 32? And how terrible it is. Yeah, maybe $320 a year. The insurance giant Cigna, and I will say my father did work for Cigna many, many moons ago, on the other hand, had seen its net profit drop more than $5 billion in 2023 to just $3.4 billion. Oh, God, can't a shareholder catch a break? But it and its house team were up for an award, too, in the category of in mental health and well-being for a holistic health survey referred to as the company's new Vitality Index. The findings were not altogether rosy. Americans report downward shifts in physical, emotional, and financial dimensions of health, it stated, but also optimism is increasing. United Health, meanwhile, brought in a record $403 billion in revenue and notched a best ever adjusted profit of over $25 billion, but incurred a lot of costs dealing with cyber attacks, which brought down the final haul. Oh, you mean because you decided to choose how you were going to go about extending care for people through AI, maybe? And then we all know someone, maybe a random 20-something gunman with back pain allegedly, offed the company's CEO and then escaped the city without hassle. And a huge percentage of America said, well, he's got a point. We can stop there, Colin. He does have a point.
I never worked for Disney.
Wow, that's good.
Well, someone put that in the Travers was saying I worked for Disney. I never worked for Disney.
When they say that Mangione has a point, the question becomes, as we are now seeing, with the shooting at the CEO, the biggest insurance CEO in the state of Oregon's house, person who came down from New Hampshire, who came down to Washington, D.C., trying to get some of Trump's appointees. And so the question, Steve, is, are they really thinking that they continue to squeeze the American populace so tight that people are not going to fight back? That the Mangione story is just the beginning? Because I think it is just the beginning.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I want to go back to something kind of bridging the two segments here before we get too far into that.
Okay.
Biden and gang let the parliamentarians stop legislation through. Okay. I mean, just so we're on the same page.
Sure.
Donald Trump hasn't given a shit what Congress has to say. He has just sat there and literally gone after whatever it is he said he's going after. Now, they both have the effect of the same thing. Biden's letting the parliamentarian block everything, gave the right wing exactly what it was gunning for. Not the right wing, capital, right? Let's just be honest, capital, right? The right wing's stupid and doesn't understand what's happening, but they do. And then when Trump goes in there, it gives Democrats this kayfabe ability to act like they're fighting against the bad guy, the dominatrix in the White House, okay? When in reality, he's just doing the exact same thing. The difference is instead of a negative version of it, he's doing a positive version of it. One is fecklessness. We just couldn't do it. The parliamentarians stopped it. The other is, fuck the courts, take me to court. I'm going to do whatever I want. So as you look at all these things that you're talking about with healthcare and things like that, ultimately, Congress is a non-starter here. It's not going to change any of this stuff. It is all about fattening the wallets of those rich people, the people that are already rich. And so the idea of copycat Mangiones and all the other things, I think, honestly, the reason why that's happening in that way is more so because we continue to feed the lie that there's something we can do about this through this system. And so they, like a zit that's ready to pop, become a Mangione, maybe, if he's even the one that did it, right? So as I go through this, what's that? So as I go through and I think about this, right, you just got two different versions of the same outcome. One guy that's proactively trying to mentally show you he's going to do these things, and the other guy that'll allow an ant crawling across his desk to block a Green New Deal or whatever. So really, it's the exact same shit. It's not corporate. It's not there. It's not the Democrats represent corporate. He represents oligarchy. They both represent factions of the oligarchy. Okay. So this show that they put on is about us feeling like they're doing for us and believing in this manufacturing of consent that has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with funneling money to their cronies, to the rich, to these people. And what do they need money for? Ultimately, money is used to keep the slaves down. It's used to bribe us and keep us where we are. And their ability to buy our labor, their ability to buy goods, or their ability to buy islands or whatever it is, their ability to survive above and beyond the pig slop. While it's so in your face that it's somewhat shocking to me that people can't see that directly. Like forget all the details, 32 million, 5 billion, 28.9 million, whatever the number, it doesn't even fucking matter. It's the same exact game. You look back to the collapse of the mortgage industry. You look back to the Big Short. You understand the rotating from industry on Wall Street, Jamie Dimon, all those people in and out, the same exact thing. Healthcare, in and out, same exact thing. Big ag, in and out, same thing. Big oil, same thing. Why do we have to wait all these years for medical marijuana to be gouged out of us from dispensaries? Why? Because they needed to make sure some rich fucks could make money off of it before they took it away from the black and brown people and all the other regular people that were just trying to get high. right? So they have done everything they can. Everything they do is for the wealthy. It's not the Democrats, not the Republicans. It's the oligarchy. It's the kayfabe of this fake thing that we buy into. We got to save our democracy. Jesus fucking H. Christ, what is wrong with you? There is no fucking democracy. Even if you really believe, you must understand the Constitution was never for the people out of doors. It was always for the wealthy white landowners. It says it in the fucking documents. Every one of these things was never for us. That's why it's a representative democracy. It is so infinitesimal. Congress never grew with the population. None of the things ever happened. It was always about things that we don't want to face because it robs us of the illusion that we can vote our way out of this. That's got to be scary for people. You know, like I'm older. It's not like I'm running down the street with freaking machetes ready to kick some ass. I'm an old dude, right? I'm probably not going to be that guy. And yet at the same time, mommies and stuff with their kids are looking at me like, God, I don't want to. What do you mean a revolution? What do you mean?